Hey everybody, this is Josh here, the Gray Bearded Green Beret, and in this video I'm going to do a couple of things actually. I'm going to be using the rubber soling kit that I got from Lower the North, that I'm going to be using that for the soles to protect the soles of my winter moccasins that I just made. I'm also going to use any excess I have from that kit to go ahead and coat and protect the bottom of the summer moccasins that I made for the long red braid. And then if I've got any left over, these are my tired old moccasins from this year that didn't have any sort of sole on it, and you can see I've walked several holes through those. So if I have some left over, I'm going to paint a sole over top of these patches that I put on here and try to protect these for another year. So we're going to be dealing with the contact cement that comes in the rubber soling kit. So normally you just use that in a well ventilated area. Use some gloves on it to keep from coming in contact with your skin, but that's if you're normally working with contact cement. If you work with any sort of chemical, including contact cement, on YouTube, however, you need to take a few other precautions. Alright, now we're ready to work with chemicals on YouTube. Woo! With my winter mocks, I went ahead and I made them with the plan of putting this rubber sole on, and it's recommended that if you're going to use the rubber sole, to go ahead and do it rough side out on the bottom. Now I've got this smooth side out on the top, but this rough side allows it to adhere. So if I had done it the other way, I would have to rough that up with a wire brush or walk around in them a couple weeks to kind of abrade that leather a little bit to make it contact a little better. But I went ahead and made these with the rough side out so that it would already be set up to take this rubber soling kit. So the first thing that I'm going to do to these, since they're already roughed up, is I'm going to, with the boot liners inside those, I'm going to paint some contact cement onto the bottom and allow that to dry. I'm going to paint that right onto the sole of my mock, right down the center, all along the edge, come up along that heel crescent, and then I want to bring it up just a little bit higher, kind of around the rim where it kind of folds up onto the sides a little bit. So I want my contact cement to come up a little higher than what I expect to actually be in contact with the ground. And again, these instructions are available over at my friends on Lower the North on their YouTube channel. I'm using their kits as well as their instructions. So if something that I'm doing is not perfectly clear, or you get your own kits, I recommend you head over there to get your instruction. I'm coming up about probably, I don't know, a good 1/4 of an inch up onto the side. That looks good. Now I'm just going to do the other one. Suppose I should actually put some gloves on. Not that I touched it at all. Alright, but seriously, you should wear some gloves if you plan to come in contact with that. And there is a step that you'll use that it's handy to have these gloves on. Use it in a well-ventilated area. Those are definitely common sense precautions that you should take when working with chemicals. That looks pretty good. Put those on to dry and get tacky. Now the same thing, I'm going to repeat that for these summer mocks, and then these, these mocks are mostly shoe goo and patches at this point, but I really like them, so I want to keep them going, so I'm going to try to preserve those. These are just buckskin patches over the holes that I walk through them, and with any luck they'll last me another year. So I'm going to paint those on just like I did these and let them dry as well. Minus the German Shepherd here. Alright, so I painted the initial layer of just contact cement on the bottom of all of these. So I'm just going to let them set in a heated area, heated garage, in this case, in a heated area for about 30 minutes. Alright, now these are getting nice and dry to the touch. What I'm going to do is go ahead and mix up my rubber mixture. So I'm going to take some contact cement, a good amount since I'm trying to do 3 pairs of moccasins. And I'm going to slowly mix in this recycled rubber chips until I get to the consistency I want. Put a little bit in, give it a stir. That's still a little light. I'm going to turn it completely black. I can put some more rubber in there. Now we're looking good. It's going to take a little time and stir that a little better. That looks pretty good. Now, much like before, I'm going to paint that rubber sole on. And I'm just coming kind of right up to the edge of where that contact cement was. Alright, so I got a pretty decent coat on that first coat. So I'm going to let that sit for about 20 minutes while I do the other one until it's nice and tacky. While that's getting tacky, I'll go ahead and do this one. Alright, so it's working ahead on the other ones, but this has been about 20 minutes since I put them on, and they're starting to get tacky. So before it dries completely, I want to take my hand while it's tacky, and I want to kind of smooth that rubber out and make it a nice even sole. So I've evened out this top half and haven't touched the bottom yet. Now you can probably see that smoothed out in comparison to the other one, which I'm going to do next. This one's been smoothed out. This one's still a little rough. After I smooth that out, I'm going to go ahead and put on my second coat and hopefully fill in all of these little gaps. There we go. Second coat on. Alright, so I mixed up a second batch here real quick. Just trying to be as efficient as possible with the material once I mix it, because once it solidifies it's no longer good. So I'm trying to stretch as far as I can. I've got my second coat on this. I'm tacking down or smoothing out, flattening out the first coat on this one. And I've already done that to these two, and I haven't even got to the other ones that I'm repairing. I should say that the only ones that are lower than North kits are the winter mocks that I'm using. These summer mocks I made for my wife out of some buckskin that I had, using their techniques and their patterns, but these are not theirs. And then these are actually commercially available Minnetonkas that I've had for about a year. So they're walked through, but those are not lower than North kits. I don't want you to think that I'm, after a year, already repairing one from them. Alright, go ahead and get my second coat on here. Alright, happy with that. We'll let that get tacky. This one with the second coat has been about 20 minutes now. I'll go ahead and smooth that out. That looks pretty good. And then my last step for these is just with the contact cement only. I'm just going to put a thin layer around the edges. Just take a thin layer of cement around the outside. Now I'm going to want to let these cure for at least 24 hours before I wear these outdoors or wear them around, because they'll still be a little tacky and they'll pick up all kinds of strange happenings that are on your floor or on the ground. So give them 24 hours before you take them out in the field. Alright, so that is it. I got my rubber soles on my winter mukluks, my winter moccasin kit from my friends at Lure of the North. This was their DIY winter moccasin kit with the canvas uppers. I also had enough left over to put some rubber soles on a pair of summer mocks that I made for my wife, and actually kind of give a little more life to a pair of Minnetonka mocks. Those are not dry yet. A pair of Minnetonka moccasins that were mostly patches and shoe goo by that point. So now they're mostly patches, shoe goo, and rubber soling kit. But I like them, so I'm going to keep wearing them until I make my own pair of summer moccasins, probably for a project in the spring, I would say. So anyway, again, if you haven't checked them out, check out my friends over at Lure of the North, and you can get your own DIY kits for summer moccasins, for winter moccasins, canvas uppers, hide uppers, whatever you want. Go check them out, lureofthenorth.com. Until then, appreciate your likes, appreciate your views, appreciate your shares, comments, and questions. Put those down below. At any time, you can click on my logo in the lower right hand side for you. Lower right hand side of your screen, subscribe. If you want to get all notifications and be up to date when all my videos come out, then just click all notifications after you click that notification bell. Till next time, hope to see you in the woods.